everyone. Thank you for joining our pickleball video series. My name is Amy, and I am here today to introduce you to the basics of playing pickleball. Before we get started, please note that I am not a medical doctor. Please consult with your physician before making any changes to your diet, exercise, or medication routine. Pickleball is a fun, low-impact sport that has internationally grown in popularity. The game can be appropriate for many different levels. It can be easy for beginners to learn, but can also become fast-paced and competitive for those who are more advanced. By learning just a few basic rules and instructions, you'll be one step closer to playing the game and joining in on the fun. Let's get started. Not much is needed to play pickleball. All you need are 2 to 4 paddles, 1 ball, a net, and a court or other flat surface to play on. Before we get into the rules, let's get a good understanding of the playing field. A pickleball court measures 20 by 44 feet, or the same size as a doubles badminton court. When playing pickleball, the same court is used for both singles and doubles play. The net measures 36 inches tall at the sidelines and 34 inches tall at the center of the court. The court is divided similarly to a tennis court, with left and right service areas and a 7-foot non-volley zone in front of the net. This is known as the kitchen. Courts can be built specifically for pickleball, or they can be converted using existing tennis or badminton courts. Usually, pickleball is played in doubles with 2 players on each side or 4 total players. Although you can play singles with 1 player on each side, we'll be covering doubles play during today's video. Each side is considered a team, and the goal is to win the game with 11 points. Win by 2 points if teams are tied, or winning by 1 point. First, decide on which team will start the game. Some courts may have a house rule of who starts first. If where you're playing does not have a starting side designated, you can simply use any fair game to decide who should start, such as flipping a coin or playing rock, paper, scissors. On the starting side of the court, both players will begin on the baseline. On the receiving side, or non-serving side, the right side player will start at baseline and the left side player will start anywhere on their side of the court. Usually, this player will stand close to the non-volley zone line or near the kitchen. On the serving side, the player on the right side when facing the net will begin the serve. The server will complete an underhand serve or drop serve, letting the ball bounce before serving to start the game. The serve must be hit diagonally to the opposite player, landing in the square the receiving player is in beyond the kitchen line, also known as the service box. If the ball does not land in this box, it is considered out. The serve must also bounce once before the receiving side can return it. Similarly, the first return ball that is hit back to the serving side must bounce once before being hit. In other words, the first return on each side must bounce once before being hit. This is known as the 2-bounce rule. After the ball has bounced once in each team's court, volleying is allowed. Anywhere except for in the non-volley zone or kitchen. Players may go into the kitchen to return a ball that bounces there, but in this zone, volleying is a no-go. From there, the point is played out with each team returning the ball back and forth, also known as a rally. After the first serve and rally, if the serving side wins the point, they serve again. But this time, the server will switch sides and serve from the left side of their court now, serving diagonally to the opposite player. If the serving team loses the point, it becomes the other team's turn to serve. However, this only applies to the first serving sequence of each new game. On the very first serve, one player starts and finishes the line, or serves until there is a fault, and no point is gained. This keeps the starting team from having an advantage. After the first service sequence, both players on each side will have the opportunity to serve and score points until they commit a fault. After a fault is committed on the first player's serve, the serve will go to the second player on that same side. After a fault is committed on the second player's serve, the serve then goes to the opposing team, who will follow the same serving process. The player on the right side of their court will serve first for their side. When it comes to scoring, only the serving team can accumulate points. A point is accumulated if the opposing team hits the ball out or outside of the sidelines or baseline. If the ball contacts any part of the line, it is considered in. The opposing team has a double bounce on their side of the net before hitting or returning the ball. The opposing team volleys or hits the ball before it bounces in the non-volley zone or kitchen. The opposing team hits the ball into the net. Let's talk about calling and keeping track of the score during gameplay. The score is called with 3 numbers. The first number is the serving side score. The second number is the returning side score. And the third number is the server number. To start a game, the score would be called as 002. The server number would be 2, since the first serve starts and ends with one player. Let's go through another example. After the first serve, if the teams are tied at 5 and the first player is serving on the right side of their court, the server would call 5-5-1. If the serving side loses that point and the second player on that side serves, the server would call 5-5-2. This concludes today's lesson. Thank you and have a healthy day.